So, a life update. I know it has been a long time. Maybe not too long, but I've been, well, I'm going to go back as far back as I can. Been transparent about how I was facing a bit of adversity and doing my best to get through it as usual. And enough was enough. Like, I tried so many things that my eyebrows, man, I was not blessed with thick eyebrows. Not even, I don't want thick eyebrows, but my eyebrows ain't even medium thick. Anyway, so I get that from my father's side. So anyway, yeah, I'm just so happy. Anyway, so yes, I was facing adversity, and I've worked my brain in ways that I've never worked my brain before, as per usual, and I became so exhausted, and there was so many times I was just like, I'm just gonna give up. But I don't have that gene, and that's a blessing. That's a blessing. I don't have that in me to give up. I don't know. I know the feeling of wanting to get up, give up, but if my brain can go beyond what it where it is at the present moment, I'm going. And that's what happened. So I had enough. I was like, I know what I am capable of. And sometimes what you are capable of, it means that you're going to see a lot of cars and motorbikes driving by slowly because there's a black woman in the sun. Anyway, so yeah, I knew what I was capable of, and I was like, I'm going to have to handle this shit myself. And that's what I did. So my last resort at the last minute was to book a flight to New York. Yes, from Thailand to New York. And I remember telling my partner, when we first moved, I was like, I'm not going back unless it means that I have to handle business. But I personally am not going back because I know I'm not missing anything. I spent 36 years. I spent 36 years of my life, my entire life at the time in New York City. Like, the fuck I need to go back for? I know exactly what's there. And when I went back, it was exactly what I fucking left. Anyway, so I went and I handled my business. I handled my business so well. Like, I foresaw it in my mind before I even got there. And within an hour of the bank opening, because this was a financial matter, within an hour of the bank opening, the business was taken care of. I finished everything. I did my transfers, I did my withdrawals, I did my paperwork to set me up for the future. I did everything. And before the date was out, I had to mail something off in order, to set my future up. And before the day was out, before the post office was closed, I mailed off that letter so that letter could go out that day. I'm not playing. Like, I know exactly what needs to be done, and I know that I can handle it, and so I did it. Yes, it was, if I chose to think about it in the matter of, like, it's so annoying I have to spend this money to just go back just to do something that I know is going to take me less than an hour or just one day. However, so you got to spend money and time. Money is time. So you got to spend money and time in order to take care of things. Something stink. Oh my God. But I'm by the river, so. Anyway. So yeah. So I did that. Now, when me booking a trip, I decided to stay for 5 days because it was no sense in getting there as quickly as I needed to get there and then rushing back. Like, what the fuck am I rushing back for? So I spent 5 days and I was like, I'm just gonna use this time to really be with myself. I haven't been able to really truly be with myself for the past 2 years. I've been with my family for the past 2 years. I mean, I've always been with my family, but I've always had the opportunity prior to moving to Thailand to be away, get away, like really get away. And I just haven't had the opportunity to do so. So I've done that. And it was invigorating. However, I must say, if you've seen the video prior to this one, I got sick. I was sick before leaving. I was coming on with something. Like, my sinuses started bothering me. But when my stress levels go up, whether my stress levels were up because I had to travel back and I was just anxious for no reason, really. Like, I still feel, I don't know. Anyway, so I'm hot. Oh my God, it's hot. I mean, I'm in the sun. So anyway, so yeah, I got sick. I was beginning to get sick prior to leaving. The temperature was dropping drastically in the mornings. The sun, I want you to see the sun. Yes. So and I knew that once I got on that damn plane and got to New York, because I knew it was cold, that it was gonna hit me like a bomb, and it did. But I handled it well. I brought my herbs and oils that I needed to in order to get through it, which was just consisted of castor oil, some Thai herbal oil. Put that on my feet at night, and I'm good to go. Staying as hydrated as possible. I unfortunately did not eat properly, meaning I didn't eat much because the food was tasteless. And yeah, the food was tasteless and unnecessarily expensive too, and unfulfilling. And some things that I did embark on that I liked prior to leaving New York, it made my stomach hurt, which I wasn't surprised about that. But I don't like ingesting things that make my stomach hurt. I mean, who does? Well, some people, they say they don't, but they still eat the shit. So, yeah. So yeah, I lost some weight being sick and just not eating as much as I would have liked to eat. And it was okay. I was okay with it because that entire trip was like a purge. It was definitely like a purge. So because I took care of everything on the first day of being there, I had nothing but time on my hands. Time on my hands. Yes. And prior to going, I was thinking about whether or not I was going to actually break contact with my family. It has been 2 to 3 years for some, 3 years for some, 2 for most. Yeah, breaking contact with my family, and I was just like, I'm just gonna flow with it and figure out whether or not that's something that I'm going to do. I'm gonna go, as usual, I go with the spirit. And I went with the spirit, and the spirit told me to go, and not only just go, but to speak my truth, because I was grounded enough to do so. So I did that. I trucked on from Brooklyn. I was in Williamsburg, Brooklyn. If you know, you know. By the L train. And I went to Harlem. I went to Harlem. And I messaged my mother. And I was only intending on expecting to... Woo, shit. I'm on my bike. It's the only seat I have, and I don't want to stand. Oh, I got a joint. I forgot. Okay. Anyway, so I yeah, I only intended on actually seeing my mother because I messaged her and asked her if I could come and get some photos that I knew was at her house, in her closet, that were of me and my daughter, because that's where me and my daughter's beginnings began. And she was like, sure. She responded, she's like, sure. And I told her I would let her know when I was on my way. And I took care of a little bit of business, some other business, before I went to her house. And in the heart of Harlem, like I was on 125th Street. And I went. And again, nothing has changed. The neighborhoods are still the fucking same. The people are still the same. The environment's still the same. Yeah, I said it. I don't give a fuck. Like, that shit is whack. But it is what it is. I have my phone on the bike. This is the best I can do. So here we are. And yeah, so I'm hot. So I went. And when she opened the door, my sister was standing behind her with a baby. Yes. So immediately I was like, oh, this reminds me of immediately I pretended to be feeling similarly and that you to believe I was okay to just walk away from the one thing that's unyielding and sacred to me. Yeah, so, like, I was nervous. I'm not gonna lie. I was nervous because I've never stood in my truth as such. More so against my abuser and against it's my mother, like, and she's not in a position to take full accountability for the trauma that she caused in my life and the abuse that caused, the abuse that came from her, whether it was intentional or unintentional. She's not ready to receive that, or rather process it, or receive it to process it, to take accountability. She's not there, and I'm aware of that, was aware of that. However, there was still things that I felt that needed to be said nonetheless, because I believe in planting seeds. People may not get it right away, but like when shit hit the fan, so to speak, or when like it's aka karma comes, they have no choice but to go back to certain things that you've said and you've done. And yeah, so anyway, so my sister was standing behind her with her baby, and I was like, okay. Immediately, I was like, this is the primal reason why the spirit was like, come, you know. And I thanked them, and I'm like, I'm here, cool. And I was just like, my sister immediately, she was smiling. She was like, hi. And, I couldn't resist. I'm like, hi. Like, it was an awkward moment, but I didn't feel awkward because, again, I was so grounded. I've come to a place where I'm so grounded that I can stand in my truth no matter if it's awkward or not, and I was grateful for that. So, I was just like, I don't remember everything that was said, but I'm like, you have a baby, and I was just smiling and in awe, really. I was in awe because my little sister has a baby and made me an aunt. And my mother was like, I could tell that she was maybe bothered because I didn't focus. My niece took the focus off of what she probably expected how she expected things to go initially. And I was okay with that too. Like, I don't give a fuck. So, I just don't give a fuck. So, she was just like, here's your things. I was surprised they were packed up for me. And it was actually more than I expected it to be. I thought it was just a book. And I forgot, like, there was just more things. And even then, I was like, oh, I'm so grateful that I did do this, because it's the first 3 years of photos of the first 3 years of my daughter's life. And it also included pictures of me when I graduated high school, because I had her in my last year of high school. And yeah, so I was grateful for that as well. And she started crying. My mother started crying, and me and my sister ignored it. She was like, that wasn't supposed to happen. And I didn't even entertain it. Like, I didn't entertain what my sister said, nor did I entertain the behavior. It's like, you're crying, okay, like, okay. So, my niece took the phone. Baby, if you're in tune, on the frequency of just love and gratitude, a child will take the attention away from what is negative and be an automatic transmuter. And that's what I did. I allowed that baby to help transmute all of that, whatever negativity that existed. So once everything was like, I gave my mother some time, and like once I settled in a little bit, because I didn't have plans on staying, but there's a baby, I'm an aunt. Like, I was like, oh, so I'm gonna be here for a while actually. And it wasn't a while. I stayed the whole day. Like, I'm traveling back across the world, and I had nothing else to do, and I did not mind. So anyway, so I gave my mother some time with that, and then I went to her and I was like, why why are you crying, you know? And I can't really remember everything she was saying because on some real shit, I think it's bullshit. You know, it's just like, okay, you're crying, but there's no, like, energy doesn't lie. You know, like, you're crying. My mother's tears are manipulative. I've realized through my healing journey, they've always been a manipulative tactic when it comes to her. And I hate that. I hate that because it's confusing to children when you use tears towards especially a sensitive child. Like, you're emotionally manipulating them, and that turns into emotional abuse, which that's what I went through. I went through emotional and psychological abuse. So it was very hard. It was very difficult for me to dissect my abuse that I went through, and which actually directly correlated to who I was. Like, I'm trying to figure out who am I and why I do the things that I do, why I react the way that I react. And it's because of the abuse. And it wasn't an excuse, but I was trying to understand. Like, I had to first even come to the awareness that it was abuse. I wasn't taught proper ways. I wasn't taught properly. My sensitivity and my heightened awareness was used against me, and instead of being nurtured, and that forced me to like, my journey on earth is to nurture myself. And I got there. I'm here. Like, I'm here. Nonetheless, I'm here. Even though I went through that, but I'm here. I was able to figure it out. And, you know, my mother was the head of the snake. You know, a lot of people did it. I feel like when a mother in particular, you know, like, she's the matriarch. So, and depending on the weight that she holds, not saying all matriarchs don't have weight, but depending on the weight that matriarch holds, people are going to follow. And I feel like that's what a lot of people have done. They followed how she was treating me, knowing and not knowing at times, or maybe even all the time, that it was abuse, you know, that I was treated like shit. And you know, it is what it is. So yeah, I asked her, you know, what was the tears for, and she was like, oh, well, I'm happy to see you, you know, it's been 2 years. And I'm like, but like what I went off of, the energy don't lie. Like, I didn't feel that. I feel like, although I showed up, you know, like, look at me. First of all, I look good. I'm conceited. And I don't give a fuck. Yes, I look good. And I look good not just because I look physically good, but I look good on the inside because I did the work. I didn't take these 2 to 3 years to sit on my ass and complain about what the fuck these motherfuckers did to me. I didn't ask for them to do it to me. That's on them. They did it. They chose to do that shit. I transmuted that. I worked through it. I processed it. I healed it. I let it go. And I'm fucking proud of you. I'm proud of you for that. And I know that I'm shining bright on the inside, so it's reflecting on the outside. And you can't, like, the last time my mother saw me, you know, I know how I looked because I know how I was feeling. And I was confused, you know, when everything started to come to the surface and I started figuring out, like, oh shit, I was abused. Like, they were abusing me, and not only were they abusing me, they're still in the in the mindset to abuse me. Although they're aware now because I spoke about certain things, that I'm aware of the abuse, like the nerve, the audacity. And I've never, first of all, I never spoke my truth to that extent 2 years ago, or was it three? 3 years ago, and it was just new for me. So when when you die and you step into your rebirth, you got to get to know yourself, and it was very uncomfortable. And just knowing that I was like my entire life I was around people, the very people that I poured love into, unconditional love into, were actually treating me like shit. More so just like it being my own mother, my own parents. Like that shit, it broke it didn't break me, it made me feel broken. So because I felt broken, I know I looked broken. And when someone looks that way, and if you don't know you don't know me, I feel my shit. I feel everything that I'm supposed to feel, because like a buffalo, the buffaloes will go through the storm because they spend less time in the storm. And I've learned that throughout life. People have treated me so badly, and I just chose to feel it. Like, it hurts. And I was able to even express it, like, it hurts through my tears. Like, it hurts. I remember leaving one relationship, and it hurt so bad. My heart literally hurt. And I was just, the whole time I was in pain. I was like, Cindy, you got to feel it, because now you know what this feels like, and you know that you won't tolerate this again. You won't choose this again. You feeling it is you choosing yourself. And yeah, so I did that. And so yeah, I know how I was looking the last time she saw me. And I also knew that through her actions that she was willing to monopolize on that, take advantage of me being so vulnerable and hurt, and still cause more trauma. And I had to be strong and just like go no contact, because people like that, they don't give a fuck. They don't give a fuck. You gotta be able to stand 10 toes down, stand on your you gotta create boundaries and stand in that shit and ground yourself in order to be able to stand up to these people, these types of people that don't have nothing to lose, that don't give a fuck. And that's what I did. And that's why I'm in Thailand, because I knew that I needed a new environment. My environment also was contributing to my sickness, me not being able to really, like, I can't fight an environment and people and my own demons at the same time. Not only was I fighting my own demons, but I'm fighting other bitches and motherfuckers and niggas demons too. Because of the fact that I didn't even know that I was being abused. I was in a cycle of abuse, even at the grown age that I was, with 2 children of my own. Like, they're putting their projecting their demons onto me. So I'm fighting people's demons, not having time to fight my own demons. Like, nah. Like, it was done. I was done with it. So there go that smell again. Oh my God. It's garbage. It's like decaying garbage. Decaying meat. Maybe it's an animal too. Anyway, so it smells like hot garbage truck juice. If you know what that smell like in New York, you know. Yeah, the one that chokes you. And that lingers, even when it's dry. Like, yo, that shit stinks. So, yeah. So the energy, like, the energy wasn't there because Imagine seeing your child that you abuse and won't take accountability for the first time after 2 to 3 years, and she looked fucking better than ever. You, like, the energy spoke to you before she even spoke. And you know that you can't pull the same shit that you've always pulled on her. So what are you gonna do? You're gonna cry. You're gonna remove yourself. She took a nap. You're gonna take a nap because you can no longer project. You can no longer project. You can no longer manipulate. You can no longer, like, you could lie. You could talk bullshit, talk your talk, but it ain't penetrating nothing because this is unpenetratable. I have a shield. I have a shield. I have a shield that I built. So, yeah, and I proceeded to speak some more truths to her. And she couldn't take it. You know. And I was so proud of myself because I didn't cry. I didn't feel that connection that I usually feel. Whereas, like, I know that this is going to hurt. Even, like, I'm not cursing you out. I'm not trying to put you down. But I know that my truth is going to hurt you. Like, I used to be in a position where my truth, I wouldn't speak my truth because I knew it would hurt people. But that's not my position to play. Like, be mindful of your actions, bitch. So, yeah. So I spoke some more truths, and she got upset. She was getting upset, and I told her, I was like, yeah, we're gonna take this down a notch, or we just gonna stop speaking, because I'm your child, but I'm not a child. I'm a grown woman, and you're not gonna talk to me that way. You could be upset, but you're not gonna talk to me that way. And she shut down. She had no choice but to shut down, and I allowed that to happen. Like, usually I'm like, you could talk, like, I'm listening to you, but you shut down. And I even continued to talk because I had a lot to say. And I'm like, you don't have to believe me. You don't have to listen, but I'm going to speak it because something is going to get through. Whether it's through my sister or through you. It's going to get through. You're going to feel this because I felt it for 36 years. I felt it for 36 years. I felt it for a very long time. And didn't know what the fuck was going on in my life, why I was feeling the way I was feeling and going through the things that I was going through. And that's why I put myself first now. Like, all of that was a disservice to me. And I'm not disservicing myself anymore. No longer will I allow people to disservice me. Yeah. And so in between time, my sister and I, we were talking. And, she not off the hook either. Like, she was a part of it. However, all in all, I told them, like, I forgive y'all. It's for me to forgive y'all. I'm not going to forget, but I forgive y'all. They're the ones who have to live with whatever it is that they know that they did that I don't even know. Even the things that I do know, they have to live with that. I don't have to live with that, and I'm okay with that. I could see I know of the karma that is happening, has happened, and even will happen. However, 2025 is, I believe it's like, it's gonna be the year that, this was the year for people, 2024 was the year for people to actually see, the sun is setting, for people to actually see themselves. Like, my adversity that I was going through allowed me the opportunity to truly see myself, because I know what I'm capable of, but I don't big myself up enough. And through that adversity, I was bigging myself up a lot, because I was making baby steps towards a solution, and it's hard. It was hard. It was very hard for me. And while trying to stay as balanced as possible, not feeling ashamed and guilty, like not succumbing to the low vibrational emotions that was being evoked from me. And yeah, so I had to, like, it had to happen. And Spirit was trying to get me to New York too, because there was things waiting for me that I would have never gotten if I didn't go. Literally. So yeah, 2024 allows people to see themselves, like really see themselves. And it's like, now that you see yourself, what you gonna do with yourself? How are you gonna show up? How are you gonna show up for yourself and for other people and towards other people? Like, what are you going to do with this newfound discovery of self? And 2025, because you have found yourself in this way, the burdens that people have laid upon you, they now have to face that. And depending on how you show up, if you tell people about the burdens that they have laid upon you, and that's allowing them to, that's also, you're a catalyst. If you will tell them, you're the catalyst in allowing them to see themselves, because clearly they weren't able to see themselves by themselves. So the universe is using you as a vessel, and it's up to that person or people to, that question lies with them too. What are you going to do now that you know yourself? Now that you're able to see yourself. And if those people do not take accountability, do not apologize, don't actually make the necessary changes that's needed, learn the lesson that's needed, 2025 is their year. 2025 is everybody's year. It depends on what the fuck you did. And they're going to feel it. 2025 equals 9. They're going to feel it. Everybody's going to feel. Either you're going to feel how it feels to deserve all the things that you didn't know you deserved in a good way, or you're going to feel all the things that you didn't know you needed to feel that you deserved in a bad way. And at the end of the day, there's no good or bad. It's all in how you take it on and how you transmute it. Right? Yeah. So I can already see those things, and how people are choosing to deal with it. It's not easy to see yourself, especially when you're looking in the mirror, figuratively and literally, and it's not pretty. But it's life, you know. Also, I learned that you know how people be like, if I could do it, you could do it. Like, some people just can't do it because they not you, And I learned that. Like, some people just literally cannot do it. So if they say they can't, let them think that they can. Like, I'm not placing myself in a position any longer to convince someone or lead them to something better, unless I'm called to. But there's just some people that truly believe that they cannot do certain things, and I'm going to leave them be to believe that they can do it because I ain't got time. And they be the same people that when you go and do that said thing, they mad. Like, bitch, you don't want to put no effort into doing it. So what the fuck? Like, now I see that there's an opportunity, like, that has opened up that I didn't know existed for me to do something because you didn't want, like, you brought it to my attention and you don't want to do it. I'm going on a tangent now. So anyway, yeah, 2025 it's your year. It's your year. What else? I've let go of so much, and still letting go of things and people that I'm so ready for those spaces to be filled with unimaginable things and people in this world. Like, I am so ready to receive, and I'm in receptive mode. Like, I'm in my like, with my adversity, my recent adversity, I was in my masculine energy because I had to figure out things. And as soon as I got back, my immediate thought was like, oh, I can rest. I still have things to think about and take care of, but that was like top priority. And I can rest now. And I've been doing that. I've been granted that. Like, I don't have to, it's the holiday season, so I don't have to work as much. And yeah, I don't have to work as much. And I've been vibing and chilling and still showing up for myself fully, I've been resting. Like, I've been intentionally resting. And it is allowing me to feel things that I'm supposed to feel. Like, horny. Yes, I feel it. Shit. I feel so sexy. I feel beautiful. I feel very feminine. And I just want to express it in so many ways. Ooh, music. I want to express it. And I'm declaring and decreeing that it comes out in a creative way because I'm ready. You know, I'm ready. Tati Sunsets. Yeah. It's behind a cloud, but nonetheless, it is setting. I have cravings for foods, and because it's the holiday week, I do not have access to those foods, and it's a bit disappointing, but I take things as they come because we can all use a break from the monotony. Yes. I think I'm gonna make a cream of mushroom sauce. And have it with some rice and a chicken breast. Yeah. What else is on my mind that I'm willing to share? I'm still exercising. Yes. I'm still exercising, and it's getting better. Like, you know, I think I spoke on this before. My recovery time has shortened. I'm able to do things more efficiently, more exercises more efficiently. I'm actually enjoying Pilates more than yoga. And I'm able, I'm able to still utilize that steam room, which is actually growing my hair like crazy. They look really good. I have all this new growth from September, and I'm able to braid it now, which it looks so good. I just love it. I really do love it. It's crinkly because I had it braided, and the braids actually hurt because they're big. Like, it's 369, 9 locks in a braid, and it hurt. It's like they're hard and it hurts. But I toughen it out as long as I can. I couldn't take it anymore last night, so I took out the braids, and this is what I'm left with. Some I have to, I think I have, now that I conjoined them, I have 39 locks. And some of them only have 2, like this one. Yeah, some of them only have 2. Some, I think 2 have 4 and 2 have 2. So I have to work with what I got, and it's working out. It looks good. It looks good. I can't wait until like they lock even more. Like, this one is pretty locked. From here to here, it's already locked. I'm really happy about that. So we went from healing trauma takes a lot care. And if you want to know, all I do is I go in the steam room and I put oil in my hair. I do the whole head to toe steam. I love it. Oh man, I love it. I put the oil that I made in my hair. My oil consists of, I don't even know. Because I made an oil last year. Yes, last year I made an oil, like a big batch of oil. I made maybe 2 or 3 batches of oil, like 8 ounces of oils. I think I made an aloe oil, botanical oil, of all kinds of things. Like, I can't even begin to tell. I don't even know. Like, I was buying things from the market. I bought this spice pouch that actually smelled good, and I just put it in the oil. I put it in the oil. There was already like flowers, butterfly pea flowers, hibiscus flowers, chamomile flowers, I don't know, kaffir lime leaves, other leaves. It was so many things that I put in there, and I would let it sit in the sun. I think I let it sit in the sun for months, and it had a unique scent, like a scent that I never smelled before, and it was beautiful. And I made aloe oil, and I wound up mixing those oils together, those 2 oils together. And yeah, so that's what has grown my hair thus far. All I do is steam. Now I steam, wash, and I twist it. I don't even use oil when I twist. It's just water. I twist it while it's wet, and I braid it. I braid it enough. I braid it until I can't braid it anymore because they're so uneven. Sometimes I can't braid it all the way down to the bottom. As you can see, they are straight, and then they unravel too because they're so big. And I don't put rubber bands on them. I ain't got time. I mean, I barely want to twist it when I do twist it. But I'm gonna show you. The sun is behind the clouds still, but it is looking marvelous. Look at that. This has been a long video, but it's been a long time since I've been on here on a episode of Tides and Sunsets. Oh, I'm going to be very transparent. I also I contacted my father. He's the one that I haven't spoken to in the longest. I cut him off before I even came to the realization that everybody was abusing me. He's just stupid. And I wasn't blessed with the best parents. I just wasn't. But the best parents to my ability is gonna come from me, and it has come from me. So I asked my mother for his number, and I was contemplating on whether I was gonna contact him or not. You know, just like I was contemplating, and my father is not the brightest, and because he's not the brightest, he operates on a vibrational level that can become a bit arrogant, and he's my opposite. So I believe that we can go there. We've never gone there, so to speak. Like, he's never taken it there, but I know that he can go there. I've seen him go there with my mother, so I know that he can go there. He just doesn't go there with me, you know. So I think it's because of the truth that I see. That my truth is my truth, and it's a lot of it is facts. Like, my truth is not based off of things that haven't happened. The shit I could recall the day. I will tell you what you had on if necessary. Don't play me. So I contemplated and I decided. Now, when I contemplated, I saw my mother on her phone. And I was like, like she, again, I let people think that I'm stupid. I ain't playing stupid. I'm not playing your game, but I'm going to allow you to show me how stupid you really are because you think that I'm stupid. And I know she was texting him and like letting him know that I was probably going to reach out to him, blah, 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 whatever. But they, for years, decades, they have put off this like illusion that they don't get along, like they're not cool with each other. However, through my sister, through some years ago, she told me, she was like, that's not the case. Like, they talk all the time. And a lot of those conversations were about you. When she was growing up, she knew that they was having a lot of conversations. She would hear a lot of conversations that they were having about me. Like, they would have conversations about me, but would never come to me and actually teach me and direct me and nurture me. Like I said, I was not blessed with the best of parents. So that shit is crazy. So I knew she was texting him, and I was like, you know what, fuck it. So I texted him, and I was, I told him who I was, and like, he gave me this awkward ass response, like, oh, my daughter, and something, I don't know, something like, my daughter, I'll call you in the morning. No, call me in the morning. And I'm like, I to myself, I'm not doing that. Like, again, you haven't seen or heard from your child in 3 years, almost 4, and you want me, like, they still see me as a child. They want me to put in the work to actually have a relationship with them. No, it's not happening. I am no longer doing that, and not just with them, with anyone. Like, a relationship, no matter what kind of dynamic it is, it goes both ways. And if I know that you're not reciprocating, I'm pulling back. If not, I'm pulling back completely. You will never see me. And they know they will never see me again. My sister's, when we was having a conversation, she told me, she was like, I thought that I would never see you again, but she told me she understood, and that really, it helped me to let go even more, in which I didn't know that I needed to let go even more. Like, to hear somebody tell me that they understand, although they didn't agree with it. Like, like, she was I had to cut her off too, and that it hurt. She was the last one, and it really hurt. Like, I didn't want to do that, but I was so fucking confused, which I explained. And she told me, she was like, whatever it is that you got going on and that you did, she's like, keep it up. Like, just like that. She's like, keep it up, because this, she's like, I like and I love this. Yeah. And she also expressed some other things to me that also let me know that, like, it confirmed to me that love really does not go in vain. The love you pour into people, it does not go in vain. It may not come back from those people, but it will come back in ways in which you need it in order to heal properly and efficiently. And I was really grateful in the moment through her words that it came back in that way, because I thought that my love went in vain with her. And it was personal for me. It was really personal, like because of how I grew up with my mother, and knowing, like, I was so excited for her birth, her arrival, her existence, but I didn't want her to have to endure the things that I endured being who my mother was. And I tried my best to protect her from it through my love. I feel that, yes, unfortunately some children on this planet, they go through things that they shouldn't have to go through. Nonetheless, they do go through it. And I believe, I truly know, I don't believe, I know that if a child is nurtured in the first 5 years, maybe 7, but the first 5 years of their lives in the way that, not in a way, but that comes from a place of genuine and utter love. All it takes is one person to nurture that into them. They carry that throughout their lives. Yes, they may go astray, but they will never forget. They will never forget. However it is that they remember it, but they will never forget. And that's what I prayed for my sister, that she would never forget the love that I poured into her, because I knew what she was up against. She wasn't born into the best situation. So again, through her words, it was a confirmation that she remembered. And she told me, she said, I remember, I know what you did. And I told her some years ago, it's the Thai national anthem. I told her some years ago, like, this is what I did, because I knew that you would go through certain things, and I knew my love would help you. And she reiterated that. She was like, I didn't know before you told me, but I now, she has a child now, and she not only understands it, she over and understands it. And again, I'm very grateful for that. Like, love transcends everything, and to know that the love that I poured into her intentionally, because of what I knew at the time, and now it now allows the time and opportunity and space for her to pour that love that she's cultivated within herself, and that was poured into her onto her child. Like, nobody's repeating. We spoke about not repeating the same things. Like, we can't help where we come from, but we can change that. We can change how we do things, and to not allow her daughter to have to experience, like, she's her protector, and she's gonna have to protect her in ways that people won't understand, and it's not for them to understand. So yeah, back to my father. I'm gonna cut this short. Well, cut it off soon because it's been an hour now. I can talk. I mean, I don't talk to people, so here we are. Yes. So I was like, I'm not calling him because it's not gonna like nothing is gonna be reciprocated. And he wound up texting me the next morning, and one of the first questions he asked me was, how was my children doing? And I told him they were fine, though they were good. I asked him how life was treating him, and he proceeded to tell me that he said it was okay, and that he was traveling back and forth to South Carolina with his girlfriend. And I was just like, okay, yeah, because that's important to him, you know. And some time passed, like there was no communication, and some time passed, and he was like, did you know that your brother passed? And yes, my brother passed. He was an abuser as well, and that was his karma. So he asked me that, and I was like, yeah, I know that he passed. You know, people have a strange way of getting news of illness and death to me, but not being concerned about my overall well-being. And he was like, well, you stopped talking to me for 3 years. And I was just saying to myself, like, I'm not about to go back and forth because he's not going to take accountability. Like, he never even asked, you know. So I just ended it with, you know, you never asked how I was doing, which means that you don't want to know, but I'm going to tell you anyway. I'm the best I've ever been in my entire life. No thanks to you. And I told him he failed me as a parent and a father. And the only good thing that I got from him was his mother. And the reason why I know how to pour love into people is because of her. She's the person that's watching over me in the spirit realm. You know, I remember the love. I remember how it felt to be loved by her. And she was the only one, and to this day, that loved me in that way. So, yeah, I told him that was my truth. And didn't hear from him ever since. And I know I will never hear from him because it's the truth. It's facts. Like, he didn't do anything for me. You know, when I decided to go no contact, nobody wanted to know why. Nobody wanted to know if I was okay. Nobody. They just let it go. All of them. And I now know that when my brother did die, which was 6 months ago, people were expecting me to be there. I ain't show up. I did not show up. And I know that, you know, your absence and silence speaks volumes. And I know that it spoke volumes. And then on the next day after that, my mother proceeded to text me and tell me that my father called her and was upset that she didn't tell him that I was actually in New York. And that he was upset. And all I said was, he upset with himself. Like, how the fuck you gonna be mad at somebody else because they ain't tell you? Like, bitch, you didn't even ask me. Like, anyway, I said what I said and I did what I did and it worked. Like, the fuck? And how the fuck he knew? See, my mother think I'm stupid. How he knew? She needs to be concerned about how her grandkids don't talk to her. How I don't fuck with her. I told her before I left, I was like, you know, like I said, I forgive you, but I'm not doing anything to rekindle a relationship. If that's what it is that you are looking for, then you need to put action into that. And I will think about reciprocating, you know, moving forward, depending on a certain, like, I don't know. Like, I just don't know. And yeah, like, I reintroduced myself, and either you can take it or you can't. So anyway, I'm chucking up the deuces. The sun has set. Bada bing, bada boom. Ciao.